I'm Trevor Hook, and it's time for Missouri on Mic, stories from Missouri in its 200th year. Amy Enderle is a professor at the University of Missouri and has lived in the state her whole life. She's raised her children in Columbia, but she grew up around 70 miles away in Sheridan County. As a Missouri native, she says the state is more diverse and has more to offer than one might think. She spoke with KBIA about her experience living and raising children in the Show Me State in this episode of Missouri on Mic.
Well, you often hear of Missouri as like the flyover state. Someone from the United States who lives on the coast might have a hard time finding Missouri on the map, right? They just know that it's in the middle, one of those M states. But I do think that the idea of, being a flyover state is a little bit of a misperception. I grew up in farming community, so the first thing that comes to mind are just like wide open spaces, acres and acres of rich farm ground and fields, and I can really picture old fence rows and sunsets and just people working hard in those fields. Sometimes I feel like when I drive the hour and a half, maybe it's just 70 miles, but it's also like two generations. It's almost from a different point in time. So a lot of great hardworking people, but not a lot of people who have experiences with people who look and think and believe differently from themselves. So what I've loved about living in Columbia is raising my children in a place where they're able to, firsthand, make friends with folks who might have first spoken a different language or have a different set of beliefs or, different holidays. I've just really appreciated, I feel like it's been a larger exposure to the world for my kids to go to school and grow up here. As a state, the more we can learn to not be scared of differences, but to see the strength in those differences, the better we are. I think it's a state that offers a lot of like rural and then more urban diversity. That there are some farming communities that are probably as small as any communities that you can find. And then you don't have to drive very far. You're in more of a city. So I think what it gives us is it's an array of people with different experiences and different encounters. I think that the history, when you think back of who the earliest Missourians are, these are people who, for the most part, were not born to privilege, but it's through their own dedication to their family and their community and their hard work that really helped them develop both themselves and their local businesses and their local church and their local communities. I think there's a spirit of the place that is so connected to the hardworking folk who recognize that things take time to develop, but it's worth the investment.
That was Amy Enderle talking about her experience living and raising children in Missouri. Missouri on Mic is an oral history and journalism project documenting stories from around the state in its 200th year. Thanks to Rachel Schnelly for producing this episode. Music was provided by the Burney Sisters. For more conversations like this, visit kbia.org. I'm Trevor Hook. Thanks for listening.